Hi, so in this video what we're going to be discussing is the investments table and the empire building section of the between your next quest phase. If your adventurer has already bought shares in a previous phase, then this step becomes compulsory. It's a compulsory step in as much as that you need to make this investment roll. So all the while there's any shares shown on this sheet, you will need to make this investment roll. If you've just got pips shaded, you don't need to make the roll, but if you've got shares, you need to make the investment roll. And all you do is you roll the die and you apply the result to each one of these areas of investment. And so what we do is we roll the D100 and we've got 46. And so what we do is we look up 46 on this table, and it tells us that in trade we get +1 pip, in finance there's no gain, in holdings it's -1 pip, and in wars it's -2 pips. And so then what you do is you apply each one of those results to each number of shares that you actually own. So in this case, trade, there's only one, so we gain 1 pip. So you shade in 1 pip. In this one there's no effect. In this one here it says -1 pip per share, so that would be -3 pips. So we can go ahead and deduct all those 3 pips. And this one says -2 pips. So we've actually got 4 pips there, and we need to -2 pips per share, which is 8 pips. So we need to deduct 8 pips. So the first thing that we need to do is remove all of those 4 pips there, and we still owe another 4 pips. And so you remove 1 share from there to make that free, and then we need to remove those 4 pips, which leaves us with 1 pip left, because each share is basically 5 pips. Okay, what we do is we do another roll and just go through some other options as to how they will work. Let's try and get a positive result. Let's say for instance we've rolled, let's try 74, which gives us +4 pips, +3 pips to finance, +2 pips to holding, and +3 pips to war. So straight away, trade is going to gain basically 4 pips. So what you would do is you would shade in 1, 2, 3, that was a pip, and then we add 1 share, we rub those out because they make up 1 share, so that becomes 2, and we still owed another pip, so we can shade in that last pip. So we've gained +4 pips. The next one is finance, and we've got 2 shares in that, so we gain 6 pips. I should have wrote in pips. These are all pips. Okay, so what you do is for each, so we've got 6 pips to shade in because we've got 2 shares in holding at the moment. So 6 pips, 1, 2, 3. Change that to 3 shares, and then rub them out, and then we're owed another 3 pips. So we shade those in, and then this one is +2 pips, I think it was. Yep. So that's another 6 pips. So what we can do is, because we haven't got any in there, we can just assume we shade all them in. So we make that 4 pips, 4 shares, and then we're still owed another 1 pip because we had to. We gained 6 pips, so that makes that. And then this one we've got 3 shares with 3 pips, so that's 9 pips. So shade in 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would make 4 shares, and they are we're owed another 5 pips. So that would, we would normally have to shade them in, but because that makes 1 full share, we can go ahead and change that to 5. So that's how you work deducting and applying pips to shares. If ever these become 10 or more, you immediately have to sell down to a minimum of 10. You can never have more than 10 shares of each area of investment. So we could have 10 in trade, 10 in finance, 10 in holdings, 10 in wars, making a total of 40 shares across all the investments. But if when we make our investment roll we actually go over 10 on these, we need to immediately sell down and take the gold value piece instead, and we need to sell down to a maximum of 10 shares in each of these investments. The other thing to be aware of is that you buy shares during the empire building phase. You can buy up to a maximum of 10 shares, as we've discussed, and the number of shares that you can buy each of the phases is based on your reputation. So in this instance, Sir James has a rep of 2, so if we wanted to, we could go ahead and we could buy an extra 2 shares in each of them, and that would be the maximum amount we could buy for this actual round, this actual phase of the before your next quest phase. You can buy shares, and you can sell shares, and you can sell pips, but you cannot buy individual pips. The value of the shares, what they cost to buy and sell, is shown just below the box there, and the pips value is shown there. So when you sell a pip, you will gain the amount that's shown there per pip and the amount shown there per share. So in this instance, if I was to sell 5 war, I could 5 shares in war, I would instantly change that to a 0 and gain 5,000 gold pieces. 4 shares there, I would gain 2,000 gold pieces, they're worth 500 each, and so on and so on. And pips, you rub out the pip and you gain the value that's shown at the bottom. And that just about wraps up how investments work. If you've got any more questions about how to apply the effects and so forth, ask away in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them as quickly as I can. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.